Hi everyone, welcome back. I am so glad for us to be back here yet again for another weekly episode, another weekly offering, another weekly beautiful message. I am the Memory Astrologer, everyone, and I am so glad for me to be back here to honor this space for us, for our healing, for our growth, for our evolution, inner and outer. Before we jump into this message, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like this message, like it, send a thumbs up. Share with the friends, the groups, the organizations, the people who make you feel vulnerable. Share with them. Share with those people. Remember, you can rewatch this video as much and as often as you want and as you need. Remember, you have the previous offerings, the previous videos at your fingertips on the YouTube channel, okay? And remember, we are constantly growing and evolving with some hidden goodies, some extra astrology insights over at Patreon, okay? Remember to come on over at Patreon with us and to come play and come and learn with us. So this message is for March 7th through March 13th. 2022. Before we start this message, remember to do your 3 deep cleansing breaths, deep belly breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth. We are strengthening and releasing those belly muscles. We are also growing our relationship to our body. All right, you all. So this week I am incorporating something different. But I won't tell you all yet. Because it's something different I feel like is going to be in a sister. And sometimes we just need the sisters. Like, life is constantly evolving and growing and changing. We just need to be mindful of our energy, how we are moving, our routines, our environments, and how they are impacting us. All right. Okay. This week, let's check in with ourselves. This is the second week of March. Yeah, this week, let's check in with ourselves. Alrighty, so I saw you come out like this, so we're going to leave you up. So this week, it is a 4 of Hearts and 5 of Hearts stepping stone. So first things first, so start at the 4. So this week is a combination of getting to know ourselves, but here we're going to be getting to know our body. We're going to be practicing and paying attention to the messages that are within us, within our environment, how we're going to now use them to their benefit. So here we might have been at a very content movement, and this contentment has allowed us to grow a foundation, a very better foundation for ourselves. And this week, we are going to be adding into our foundation. But before we add into our foundation, we're going to solidify our own understanding of ourselves within our foundations. So that looks like when our body speaks to us, what does that really mean? Where does this feeling come from? And how can I be more in tune with it? And here, the more in tuneness is allowing you to tap into more so the inner depths of you, the inner depths of your soul. And this is allowing you to then see the karmic relationships that have continuously played out, not just within this life, but within all our lives, within our parents' life, within our grandparents' life, within the lives of our family, our community. Here we are really tapping into self-fulfillment, self-reliance, And that looks like looking at our environment, looking at the pillars within our environment and seeing how they have maintained, how they have changed, and how they are still strong. What parts of you have changed, have molded, have transformed, and is still strong? How can we be more strong and more steady and more content and more actualizing within ourselves this week? How can we do that? Because here, when we are able to actualize and depend and rely and understand that on an inner level, on a personal level, it allows us to grow our desires and how we connect to them. It allows us to grow on our inner connectivity, our inner creativity. I said connectivity. 4 does bridge for 5 to start growing and expanding. But here, 5 gives us an opportunity for play. An opportunity for play. And we might be seeing play as something that is not assisting us or not important. But here, that is our standstill. That is our opportunity for growth, is for us to reflect, for us to decipher our different motives and our different understandings of play, and how our fundamental values, that's from previous relationships, from the previous pillars within our society, from the previous pillars within your family, and the way that you are defining nurturing and security. So here, we're tapping into the inner us, the inner light, the inner pearl that we keep safe. And as we tap into the inner pearl, we grow our relationship to it. We see the relationship to it. When our stomach grumbles, we know exactly what that means. When our head starts to hurt because we've been doing so much work, we already know what that means. We already know what that means. But this is now time to pay attention to our body, our heart, our stead. Pay attention to your children. Tap more into them. This week, how can we input more creative passion, more creativity within our life, within ourselves? Because as we grow this creativity within ourselves, it highlights the transformations that we've been through, but then it highlights how we never really lost anything. You feel me? We regenerated it. We regenerated it. The back of deck. King of Diamonds. King of Diamonds. Here, you understand that it's mental. You understand that the sharpness of your values, the ability to transform values and understanding and evaluation to the highest good. To the highest good. We were just recently talking about reaching our king status and the importance of being king, of understanding kingship. And here, we need to summon our power, summon our skills of evolution, summon our skills of mental capacity, of reflection, and to use it to our benefit, to guide our hearts, to guide our values, to guide our soul, our worth, and how we are incorporating that within ourselves, within the type of people, relationships, values that we are incorporating into our life, that we are incorporating into our own pillars, that we are incorporating into our own pillars. So we know that this week is going to be very emotional, very tapping into our body. Now, this emotionalness might not just be the entire week. It might just be one day, but the one day then leads to the evolution and the groundbreaking of self. And once that happens, now it's our key to put the pieces together to evaluate what needs to happen next. to evaluate how can I protect what needs to be protected and eliminate what's not serving me, my body, or my highest good. Here we need to really understand the balance of things. And for us to understand the balance of things, we're going to be tapping into a new oracle. Oh, geez. And the new oracle is a self-care based oracle. And here we are going to be defining what self-care do we need to tap into more this week that's going to best assist us to be high evaluators, consistent and quick thinkers, and allows us to be very open in our understanding and perception of things and the way that we are growing ourselves. So what self-care advice do we need for this beautiful week of March 7th to March 13th? Too many cards. Okay, too many cards. Yes, too many cards for me. It was about 5 of them. I was like, 2 cards will do. Please, 2 cards will do. Oh, yeah. This is my very first time using this deck. I'm actually pretty excited. Okay. Because this keeps coming out. Wow, I said, only want a couple cards. And then 4 cards keep coming out. So let's really get into what we need to be tapping into this week, because I was just going to hesitate. I was going to hesitate and not give the message, but the message needs to be given. So this week, let's reverse 36, plan a vacation. So what are ways that you can tap more into understanding yourselves to get away? Right now, this is the moment to tap into yourself and to eliminate what's going on in the background. So how can you eliminate what's going on in the background to deepen your relationship to self? And here, I'm really seeing 3 and 9. 3 and 9 is giving me 12, which is 3. So maybe you need to be writing. Maybe you need to be communicating. Maybe you need to be reflecting and thinking. So let's close that door. Let's run us a good bath water. Let's get to know ourselves. Let's review some of our journals. Let's review some of our writings, our previous writings. The next card is positive affirmations. And here, this is unlocking your heart, because positive affirmations allow us to see the goodness through hard situations. And that's what we need to know, is that even through hard situations, yes, I'm learning the beautiful lessons that's allowing me to grow and to mold into the highest version of myself. But I also need to be softened. I also need to be softer to myself and more receptive and more balanced within myself. So I'm not so hard and rigid because of these challenges. Because I see these challenges. And here, positive affirmation is going to speak the goodness back into ourselves that we need to know. We have been through so many changes. We have been through so many obstacles. And now we need to really check into our mind, our body, our spirit. Check into our values. Check into, is this really still us? And that's an honest thing. That's an honest rebirth. Because it allows us to get to know ourselves at a deeper level and to grow that, to integrate that. After 5, we reach the integration of self, within self, the understanding of my own autonomy, understanding that I can be myself within other people, that I can learn myself, and it's okay because it's natural. It's natural. The next card is movement. Let's move. We need to get out here. This creativity, it's asking us, what do you like to do? It's telling you need to get out there and move. You need to shake something. You need to be stretching. You need to be getting to know your body's rhythm so you can then know the universe rhythm. But before you even know the universe rhythm, you need to learn, your own rhythm. How does your body speak to you? 36 is giving me that when you start moving, when you start stretching and realizing and seeing the beautiful greatness, gratefulness, uniqueness of you, you're able to unlock certain parts and unlock certain memories that's going to allow you to step into the new beginning, to culminate and to see the changes that you have incorporated, the changes that you have seen, the changes that you have endured, and allow you to be more whole and more content within yourself, more reliant, more trustworthy, and more fulfilled within yourself. So the last card was pleasure, and pleasure was reversed. And here we need to really look at how we have been taken away from ourselves. And that might be looking like filling other people's cups. That might look like not really open to hearing our body because there's so many noise that's going on. There's so much commotion. And right now, we need to pour into ourselves. We need to acknowledge our beauty. We need to honor our sensuality and honor our natural ways of expressing ourselves. And right here, we need to really tap into that dance, that movement. That's why movement was next to reverse pleasure. And here, this might be something that's karmically happening, not just within you, but within your family. And this is probably a pattern that we need to acknowledge, one of those pillars, to acknowledge and to be progressive on this, to honor this, and to realize that we are all sensual and creative beings, because sensuality allows us to harness our creative energy force and to use it in the way that best serves us, that best allows us to grow and to honor it. And here we need to tap more into pleasuring ourselves. So if we got people out there who like to shake and twerk, we really need to get into that maybe sensual, slow movements, hot yoga. Maybe this is one of those times where we need to tap into massages and honoring ourselves. So are there any oils that we want to try that connects to ourselves? Let's do that. But let's also grow and understand our inner sensuality. So I'm seeing really root chakra. And that's really tapping into our confidence, into our worth. And we need to understand that we need to make sure that that self is fulfilled before we are able to give to anybody else. Before we are able to give to anybody else. We see that the heart here, if the card was upright, it would be growing and progressing. But here, we need to allow ourselves to go back into center, to go into hermit mode, and to see what needs to be worked on. To understand ourselves to the deepest layer. Pleasure. What does pleasure and security look like for you? How can you give that to yourself? This week, we're going to be tapping to the intimate versions of self. So remember, when we're tapping to the intimate versions of self, that there are a lot of releasings we will be doing. So if we might be crying, we might be getting to know the deeper versions of ourselves, but also others within our environment. And when this happens, understand that this is a moment of realization, a moment of unlocking, and use this moment as the ability to process change, to grieve, to give yourself the needed space that you need. So here, how can you tap more into pleasure this week for yourself? This week for yourself. The back of the deck is take a walk. There are messages within your environment, within your body, within your mind. And what we need to do is detach. Detachment allows us to be more in flow with ourselves, to be more in flow with what's really going on, to Be the king, the highest version of evaluation. And here we need to clear our mind away from the noise. Away from the noise. This goes back to 39. The very first card says take a vacation in its reverse. So here we might be putting in a lot of work, and it's telling us we need to take a break. We need to realize where we are at and realize we cannot continue pushing unless we take a step back, unless we know where we're going. Sometimes we can be pushing, but is it for the right cause? Is it for the right reason? And this is our time to think about, is this for the right reason? Just want to do it quickly. A Queen of Spades, that's the reception we were talking about. The ability to be in flow with our highest version of ourselves, our consciousness, our emotions, and seeing how they each integrate and play an important part. You feel me? This queen right here, she got a flower and she got a scepter. So she already understands the ability of needing to be in companion, in flow, bountiful, receptive, kind and sweet and cooperative, but she also knows the need for force, the need for standing her ground, the need for telling it like it is, So remember that you have the inner power within you, but it's up to us to define it. It's up to us to find it, and it's up to us to grow it. You have this. Remember, this week we are going to be tapping into the inner versions of ourselves. So be softer, be kinder, and be sweeter to yourself. Have a wonderful week, everyone.